Welcome, Jan De Schepper. Absolute pleasure to have you in this edition of AwinguruTalks. Jan, you're advisory member you're part of the advisory board of Awingu. But next to that, obviously, I knew you for the very first time as a CEO of Telindus. You got acquired by Belgacom. You joined the leadership team in Belgacom. That's where, for a very short period, we technically worked in the same company, but at a very different level at that point in time. In the meanwhile, you've had many board mandates for very interesting companies, Astrid, Securitas, BDO Digital, etc. And you've written and collaborated on multiple books, and actually one of those books is the occasion that we're talking today. It's this one. It's Connections, a very interesting book. And I think what makes your books very interesting is you always look at the crossroads between sports and business and management, which is a very innovative and new perspective to look at things.
Yes, that's right. Because business is not top sport, but you can certainly take things out of the sport and compare to the business. So we are more in a situation of sportification of the business, because we are living every day with fears, with time, with pressure, and that's something that sportsman has a little bit more than businessman. So we can learn from sport on that issue.
Yeah, absolutely. So before we dive into the book itself and some of the learnings there, because what I'd like to do in this interview is look at remote working and how this is influencing the way we make connections, hence connections in the book, but also leadership and management. But as an opening question for you, what are the main challenges that businesses face today?
Well, more than 72% of CEOs or 72% of companies, they state that there is not enough collaboration in their companies, in their organization. And this has a negative impact on customer satisfaction, on employee satisfaction, and on profit. So that means that there is a problem. And what is the main problem is a combination of the decrease of productivity and a decrease of engagement. And so they have made studies and they show, in fact, two reasons for the lack of collaboration. And the first reason is about the people. Are the people motivated? Are they have the right attitude? That's the first reason. But you cannot blame every day or every time your people. There is something wrong in organizations also, the way of working. And that's a very important thing, because we have seen a rapid increase of complexity in the world. Between 1970 and 2020, the complexity increased by a factor of 7 because internationalization, globalization, and technology. And complexity is in fact not the real problem. What is the real problem is we want, as a human being, control complexity. And it means that we add people for every problem we have. We add hubs, systems, IT, coordination layers, coordination centers, matrices, KPIs, meeting, reports, rules. And in fact, we add in fact to the complexity, complicatedness. And the complicatedness increased by a factor of 38 due to those counterproductive systems. And that's the reason. Complicatedness is the reason why collaboration, why performance, why productivity and engagement disappear, in fact, in a black hole. Because people are not interested in working in non-productive companies, because they have to work harder and harder for less and less added value. And people are not interested in working in non-productive companies because the human effort cannot compete with the counterproductive system, the counterproductive systems. And there are the two main reasons. And I think that we have to handle and to solve those two reasons. Because if productivity is going down, engagement is going down. If engagement is going down, productivity is going down. And the reaction of people is people get tired, they give up. They ask the boss, what should I do because it's too complicated? And in fact, the third reaction is they apply the rules scrupulously. Even when the customer is not happy with that, I was at least compliant. So that are the two main problems that we struggle in the business now.
Right. So productivity and engagement are the two main elements that we need to work on.